Hello, welcome to Northern Apex Podcast, where we interview those in Canadian motorsport, whether it be drivers, engineers, mechanics, anything. Today we have a very special guest, Darryl, NASCAR Canada driver, engine builder, and performance driving instructor. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So, past weekend,
Yep.
drove Indy. How was that?
It was great. Friday was a little bit of hecticness,
Yeah.
but we'll leave that out of it. But once they got the event rolling, it was actually really good. The track was fast, technical. It was a lot of fun to drive. So I hope we, even with everything that happened on Friday, I hope we go back next year.
Nice. Was the track kind of everything you were expecting it to be? Was it a bit more hard, but easier than you were expecting?
I find it was a little bit tighter in section, but also a little bit wider in section. So it was a little bit of yin and yang. I expected certain things, but then in the opposite direction, it was pleasantly pleasing. So I definitely liked it. It was like I said, fast, technical. It had slow corners, fast corners. Even the back straight wasn't really a straight. It was a couple of corners in that straightaway, which ended up making it a little bit racier. And it was really fun to go race against everyone out there. So I can't complain at all.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like a really fun track, especially turn 5, just throw the car.
Yeah, it was like it was one of those, just grab the top of the steering wheel and turn it as hard as I can to see if I can get there. And our cars are not exactly meant to go that slow.
Yeah, no.
So it's kind of getting the carburation and everything right to make sure it doesn't bog off that corner was definitely interesting, because we still had a high speed straightaway that we needed to run towards the higher RPM range. So it was a little bit of a balance, but I think we got it sorted. We were pretty quick throughout the weekend, and like I said earlier, I made a little bit of a mistake to put it into the tire wall, but dropped us back from P7 to P17, and drove myself back up to P10 for the finish. So nice. I was happy with that. I think didn't show our true pace and what we could have done, but I'm definitely happy with bringing the car home in one piece.
Yeah, and for sure. And as I said, everyone made mistakes that weekend. It wasn't like no one was absolutely perfect. Everyone had their own thing with the track, like, oh, they did this wrong, did this wrong.
Yeah. Well, with the minimal track time we had,
yes, exactly right.
It was kind of like, well, we have to push to figure it out.
Exactly.
And sometimes when you push, you do have those little bit of a mistake. And luckily, mine wasn't that big of a deal. It did push me back into the field, but I was able to recover from it and move on, So some people weren't as lucky, but, I think all in all, everyone had a good experience there. And I think if we can, chalk it up to growing pains for the Friday stuff, but I think we can be happy to go back for next year.
For sure, 100%. So would you be able to kind of explain your career in motorsports so far, from start to where you're at now?
Yeah, so I started karting when I was 11. I started out at Goodwood Kartways, raced there for years. It was my home track, my home base. Back in those karting days, you were proud to represent your club. You raced against other clubs and stuff like that, but that was my home base for years. And after racing internationally all over Canada, as well as the States, ended up jumping into cars when I was about 17, 18. Did a bunch of Canadian touring car stuff. I ended up getting into Grand Am for a couple years. Did the sport touring class, the ST class. It was in the middle of the recession, and I had a sponsor that everything went under. Their company went under, so I ended up losing my ride and turned to coaching after that. So I was working in a karting shop, Karts and Parts, which was Lon Herder. I raced for him at the time, and he asked if I would be interested in coming to work there at the same time. So I was working, doing coaching, doing the kind of the make money instead of spend it type of situation. And then I worked with a couple of private clients, someone like Dalton Kellett, who I took from his first day in a go-kart to the road to Indy. And then while that was going on, I started up a karting team in 2013, where I worked with drivers like Elvis Stoico, a bunch of people that we can say that made it into the car industry. But that was one of our first clients was Elvis Stoico and Austin Riley. So I had a partner at the time that we started it up, and we became pretty successful with our team. By the end of it, we had about 30 drivers underneath our tent that reported to us. We ran all around Canada and the States. I've gone as far as Dubai working with drivers and stuff like that at the World Finals. So, I did a bunch of that. And then actually Gary, who was on your podcast a little bit earlier, we're pretty good friends. And I was out of racing for a while. I was spotting for Gary, and I say it's his fault that I got back into this. I thought it was over, and I thought I wasn't going to get into this battle anymore, but I did. And one day we were spotting at CTMP, and Ryan was like, I don't know if I'm going to race Toronto, and I'll use better choice words, but you're a little bit of a wuss if you're not going to do it, Ryan. And me and Gary were joking around that I would do it if Ryan doesn't do it. And a couple weeks later, Gary called me and said, hey, this team's looking for someone. Like, would you get back in the seat? And I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I want to do this again. I'm like, let me call around and see if I can get some funding and some past sponsors and some people I worked with and kids I worked with, their parents, found out that I was thinking about getting back in the seat. And I got the funding together pretty quickly, and I was like, all right, well, here we go. Back into this again. Thought this whole rodeo was over, but I ended up jumping into the car for the first time. No practice. Went to Toronto.
What a place to start.
What a place to start. Everyone thought I was crazy. I even thought I was crazy, but I ended up jumping back into Toronto, finished 12th, I believe, in my first run. There was about 30 cars. So still on the lead lap, no damage to the car. And the team after the race was like, okay, you gotta stick around now. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this again. So just found some more funding, and here we are 3 years later, still banging around in a NASCAR and having some fun. Changed teams to Larry Jackson Racing, and with some tooth backing, and honestly, I feel at home with them. So sure. Larry and Wendy are amazing people, and they support me as much as they can to help me get into the car as much as they can, and we've turned into a tight-knit family now. So it's pretty cool to 5 years ago, if you said I was racing a NASCAR, I would have laughed at you and said, man, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done racing. But here I am, and not done racing apparently. Apparently I like some punishment. So, I always say I participate in NASCAR.
Yeah. What was your wife's reaction when you were first kind of like, hey, so I'm going to get back into the car?
Honestly, my wife's very supportive about everything I do. She was excited because when we started dating, I was racing karts and here and there. I wasn't really racing cars a lot. I would do like the 13 hours of VIR and stuff like that randomly in cars, but nothing that was worth talking about that type of stuff. But she's when I started to say that I was getting back into it, she was 100% supportive, and
nice.
And the fact that she still is putting up with me after all of this, it's pretty cool to have a wife that supports you as much as she does.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of got you into motorsport?
So my parents did the timing and scoring at Mosport.
Oh, okay.
So when it was Mosport. So there's this thing called the Canadian Timing Association, CTA, and my parents were part of it. So I was at Mosport when I was 6 months old.
Wow.
And I had a babysitter in turn 9 that she had a bunch of tents that we all used to, a bunch of the kids and the parents that used to work there, the kids used to hang out all in the same babysitter. Yeah. I don't know how much of a babysitter she was, but I remember, vaguely of being around them and being on the inside of turn 9, 10 there, and my parents would drop us off there, go do their job, and then after the session, they would come back, pick us up, and I grew up at Mosport. Like nice. Some of my fondest memories is sitting against that fence watching the IROC series and all sorts of different cars. When Trans Am was back then, it was a cool series to be around, in the 944s, and it was really it kind of caught my eye, and it kind of set my whole life up. I, didn't really get into karting because I didn't really know about karting when I was younger. I knew that people did it, but I didn't really know about it. And, I was always at a racetrack, and my parents ended up starting to work for the Timon and Scorin with IndyCar.
Oh, okay.
So I used to go to a lot of the races, and, I would have like an all access pass when I was 10 years old, running around in the RV area of all the drivers and the paddock area, and getting all their autographs. And that just kind of set the bug in me. And sooner or later, my dad's friend was racing karts at the time, and he turned to my dad and asked if he would want to come out and try one. So I went out, did it, and I think my parents regret that day ever since.
Yeah, it's been downhill.
Yeah, big downhill. It seems like it's a very steep downhill, but it's shaped me who I am, and kept me out of trouble when I was a kid. I did have some friends that kind of got into trouble sometimes, and kept a core group around me that kept me out of trouble, and made me realize that if you want something in life, you got to go get it. And
for sure.
Motorsports definitely makes you do that, and teaches you a lot of lessons. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
Nice. Do you find karting back then was a bit more effective in career development than it is now, or do you think it's kind of the same?
No, I think back then it was, my dad worked on my kart. It was, we didn't have all these big race teams. The job I had for 20 years didn't exist when I was a kid. Like there wasn't a racing like a karting coach or a karting mechanic, or there was teams, but the team was all of our tents put together beside each other. It wasn't really like, let's all show up and there's a race team there. It was more, we all showed up, put our tents beside each other, and we were all on the same chassis brand, and that's why we were called the team. Karts and Parts was our team, but it wasn't like Karts and Parts had his own tent. I think one year he did a big tent at the Nationals in Grand Mare, just because it was something that he did. We just had it, and it wasn't really you were a lot more involved in the kart. The problem is half the kids now get into karting and they don't even touch a wrench. They just sit there, and it's sad to say, they just sit there on their iPads until their session's up, and they get going again. And that's where back in the day it was a little bit more like, if I didn't work on my go-kart with my dad, I wasn't racing. Like it's kind of changed a lot more now, where everyone gets into the sport and thinks that they need a full-time mechanic, they need a full-time coach to keep up with these guys. And some of these invoices that I've seen from a race weekend, it's like, why don't you just go race a car? Like this is ridiculous. And it's getting worse and worse. And I left the karting industry 2 years ago, and I've looked back now and I'm like, I don't really miss it. It's changed so much, and I hope it goes back to what it used to be, but it's driven by money now, and it's not how good you are, it's how much money you can bring to the table, which is very sad, because a lot of these kids can, some of the best drivers in the world are never going to be discovered. They're just sitting around on Gran Turismo or Forza or iRacing, and they're never going to be put into a car because they just can't afford it, right? Where I believe our era was the last era of kind of getting into the sport with some talent. Yes, you needed a little bit of back end, and I would say I was part of the first transition of that, of where financial was a big part of it. But now, since we've lost tobacco and liquor to be sponsoring our cars, if you look back in the 80s, 90% of the teams had some sort of tobacco company on their car, because really and truly tobacco had endless amount of money, so they can give the race teams as much money as they want, and then the team can go and find the best, most talented driver, and that's what they did. But after the 90s, and they banned that type of promotion, which, hey, I'm not saying it's bad what they did. I understand why they did it, because tobacco companies are in motorsports, there's a lot of children around, and younger crowd that can influence them to go and smoke or do something that they shouldn't be doing. And I totally get it. But once we lost all of that, it came down to, okay, a team could hire 10 people to go find the money for the year, pay them, do all that stuff, and it's not guaranteed that they're going to find the money. Or they can turn around and be like, well, that guy, he's all right, let's just throw him in the car because he can bring the money.
Exactly.
So it's pretty sad now seeing, you know, some of these talented kids in karting not get ahead. And, you know, some of the kids that are getting ahead are not exactly the most talented. They're just getting there because they have the money. You know, when it comes down to it, I think if we can figure out something that will replace that funding issue and get the teams to actually go for the talent instead of the money, the sport would be so much better, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
This is why, sorry to say, why in the junior rankings you see a lot of these kids just destroying cars because one, they don't care because they know their dad's going to pay for it, or their parents are going to pay for it, or their whoever's financially supported is going to pay for it, and two, they just take it for granted. You know, it's not like a passion of theirs. It's a passion of theirs because they think it's cool. It's not a passion of theirs because it's the be all and end all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's I feel like the difference of you know, racing in the 90s and 2000s is, you know, there was a pool of talent that, you know, on my race weekends we would go into a race weekend not knowing who's going to win. Like we had 10-15 drivers that we had no idea who was going to win. Like there wasn't going into a weekend being like, well, it's probably going to be this guy or this guy, or this girl or this girl. You know, it was always, well, let's see what happens. And now we go into a race weekend and we're like, well, this person's probably going to win, right? And it's sad now. You know, I hope the future is a little bit more bright, but until we find something that can replace that, I don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, and it's insane to like go to kart weekends and like see you have like people that are just like under their own tent, or maybe not even tent, just like their parents or someone are wrenching under kart, and you look at a team like PSL or something like that that's next to it, and they just have like all these screens of data and like live timing, live screen, like recording of the GoPros like right on time, and it's like just seeing that correlation of like how big of a stretch it is on like how much it is now from like back then, of how you were saying it was just kind of like you all put your kind of multicolored tents together. Nothing made sense, but it was just you guys helped each other, right? Like,
exactly.
And there's still good correspondence within karting of people wanting to help others, especially those that are kind of all doing the same thing of like you work on your own car, you race your own car, you kind of really never sit down type thing. Which is good. And which we said it was sponsorship of how the market's kind of diluted now in a way of like you look down at the Cup Series, like there used to be like, oh, that's the Tide car, that's the M&M car, that's the Lowe's car. Now it's like you see liveries changing like every 3 races.
Exactly.
Like, no sponsor wants to be consistent anymore, which is one big problem for motorsport.
Exactly. I agree. You know, with the with the Cup Series, it's, you know, they have 35 races, 35 races or something like that. And, you know, back in the day, it was the Cup car, it was the Tide car, it was the interstate car, you know. But now it's like, well, it's only the M&M car for 8 races of the year, and then it turns into the Hershey car for another 8 races, and then it turns into this car for another 8 races. It's just very pricey now, you know. It's 6 figures to do one race, and when you look at that, it's like 90% of the world can't afford that, right? So, and because motorsports is so expensive, you can't just cold call a company now and be like a multi-billion-dollar company and be like, hey, come sponsor me, because they really they get so many calls to their marketing team that it's just diluted so that they don't even look at it anymore. Where they need to you know, it's almost like they need some sort of company that just puts all these companies together, and it's like, okay, let's do a draw, or let's do a competition to see who gets sponsored by these people, to get them, you know, get the people that don't have the money into it. Right. You know, it's pretty sad, just the state of motorsports right now, and how it's all run by money and how it's not by talent. And, you know, you see a lot of these drivers making it into the top ranks, and they're not meant to be there. You know, they've been groomed to be there instead of have the natural talent to be there. And once that starts happening, then you start seeing these crazy accidents and crazy car counts that, you know, 30 start and 15 finish because, you know, some of the people that are there are not, like, they shouldn't be there. Right.
Exactly.
And, you know, not calling anyone out or anything, it's just how it is. And it's pretty sad to see that, people ask me if I'm going to get my kids into karting and getting into motorsports, and I always tell them, I'm like, nope, not a chance.
Wow.
And they're like, why not? I'm like, because I know I can't afford to get them into cars.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to give my daughters a glimmer of hope to think that they can become a race car driver. Like, I know what it's taken me and the sacrifices it's taken me to get to where I am. And it was still an era where I can kind of find those sponsors and do what I need to do. But for my kids to come in and be like, oh, I want to be a race car driver, it's hard. Like, I don't want to, when they get old enough to break their heart and be like, listen, we're not in that situation to do that.
Exactly.
We're not in the situation that, we can put up the first 2 years of, like USF now is like 750,000 US to go race USF 2000.
And that's like the cheapest formula you can get.
And it's like, so you want me to sell my house to go and do that? Like, that's not going to happen. Right. So, it's sad because I love motorsports so much, and I would love to put them through it. If they want to do it as a hobby, no problem. I'll put them into it. But if they want to be serious about it and go and try to make that dream, I just I don't have it in me to disappoint my kids.
Exactly.
And there might be that 1 in a million chance that someone might pick them up and go and race, but I don't know if they're that 1 in a million chance, right? So my daughter right now plays soccer, and I love every second of it, and she loves every second of it. And I tell my wife all the time, she's like, well, what if, put them in the race and like try it? And I'm like, no. You know what? I'm like, I'll buy them brand new cleats and shin pads and a soccer ball every game, and it's still cheaper than a set of tires. So I'll do it that way. But it's sad to see the state of motorsports right now,
like Travis from that race for Auto Electric last year, he was telling me, like, we were talking after a race at CTMP, he was like, if you want to get into motorsport, especially someone like me that started when I was 16, so a bit late, he's like, if you're really dedicated to motorsport, just remember you only have your 20s once, and to really do well in motorsport, your 20s are going to be just full of marketing and testing and doing whatever you can. So it's like either you're dedicated to this or you sacrifice a decade of your life to make it into that point.
Exactly. No, it's true. He knows what he's talking about. It's a big sacrifice. And, I must say it's, going to school is very important. Going to, get in that fallback is very important. And a lot of these kids now are not even going to they barely go to school. They have a private tutor that drives around with them at the racetracks, and they're doing schoolwork in the trailer. And it's like, okay, that's great. At least they're going to school. But majority of the people can't afford to do that. They can't have a private tutor fly around with them to these races. Like, they can't, it's sad. I hope and pray that there's something that turns the sport around, and some sort of big financial backing comes into it to actually pull the talented drivers out of it. But at this point, it's sorry to say, it's the best of the rich kids.
And that's like when Gary was on my show, he was talking about how when he won Canadian Nationals a long time ago, he got
he beat me. I finished second. Sorry, third. I finished third that race.
But he got the opportunity from Lawrence Stroll to go to that racing school out in Ottawa, I think it was, or something like that. And I'm just like, you don't see that anymore. Unless you're in the US, where sometimes there's the
Lucas Oil shootout.
Yeah, the Lucas Oil, there's barbers and all that. But even then, you have to put in I was looking at it, I think it's like 16 grand just to enter for the weekend. That's at a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, just, it sucks there's no, as you said, there's no big financial backing to support young drivers to bring them up. Because the whole thing with motorsport at a young age is that you obviously have to pay a lot, but there should be so many scholarships and incentives for doing well.
Totally agree.
You get this, you do this, you get this, you do this, and there's tickets to races, but even then they're still so limited of you, let's say you win Rock GP, stuff like that, or you win nationals, now that you win Winter Series, it's you get a ticket to go let's go do the exact same thing over in Europe once.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still spending a few $1,000s, even if you get a car, you get entry, you still have to hotel, travel, everything else, visas.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's there's nothing that will take you out of a go-kart into a car that is completely free. There's nothing out there that will do that. There's development programs, even these drivers that are signing with Ferrari at 14. It's no, they dropped millions of dollars to be part of that program. It's not, you know, it annoys me kind of when people are like, oh, I'm signed with this deal. And it's like, yeah, but you paid for that deal. It's not, yes, you might be a little bit of a talent, but you still paid to get there.
Yeah.
Right. It's not okay, I can bring, you know, very minimal amount of money and race this series now. It's you still have to bring a good financial back in.
Yeah.
And in the junior ranks, it's not like for these companies to look at a junior rank driver, it's not like they're all over TV. It's not like they're getting anything. It's they're investing in their career at a young age to hope that they get there and say that they're supporting them. But most of the companies just wait till they get up there and then support them.
Yeah, you look like Kimi Antonelli, for example. Yeah,
exactly. So when they're trying to get ahead in motorsports and the companies are not going towards the junior rank kids, that's not going to help the sport grow. It's just going to wean out the people that can't afford to do it and kind of support the people that can support it, right? So it's like, no, they should, instead of looking at, you know, sorry to say, in Canada, companies do this a lot, even in other sports, you know, like it's like the Olympic athletes, they don't do anything or they don't make anything until they go and win a gold, and then all these companies like, oh, you won gold, perfect, let's go, now I'll support you. And it's like, well, where were you the last 20 years when I was struggling to get there and struggling to pay for my own flights and hotels and everything to go compete for Canada, and I put all my own money into it, and then now that I've won an Olympic medal, okay, now you're supporting me. Like it's, you know, that's one thing that the States does have a little bit over us, is that they do support their junior ranks a lot more. Yes, there's a lot bigger companies down there and a lot more of it, but you know, it's hard in motorsports to just get a sponsor alone, let alone in Canada, you know. And that's one thing that these big companies need to do, is look at the junior ranks, not the people that have made it, because they got there for a reason. They financially made it for a reason. So go to the people that are trying to do well. There's I've seen kids that start off the season, you know, they have budget for like 3 or 4 races. They're in the podium and win 1 race of the 4 races they're in, and you never see them again. Because they can't afford anything after that. So those are the type of kids those big companies should be jumping on board and helping to get them into the ranks, because you know, a series like the Road to Indy, where it's the USF Juniors, F2000, Indy Pro, Indy Next, you win the championship in that. Mind you, it's very hard to win the championship in that, but if you win the championship, majority of your budget for the next season is covered. So at least give them the chance to get through that first year to go win that championship, and then, hey, here we go, let's go and see if we can do it. But you know, like we were saying with budgets, you know, when you're dropping $500,000 US in your first season, I don't know a lot of people that can do that. You know, so it's expensive, and these big companies need to stop worrying about the people that have actually made it, and if they're that big company that jumps into a junior rank kid and makes them get to IndyCar because they're talented, or makes them get to F1 because they're talented, or NASCAR, that's a way better story than jumping on someone that's won the championship already, right? So you're just looking like a bandwagon jumper, jumping onto someone that's won already, instead of taking the kid that's talented and pushing him through the ranks. And I'm hoping that sooner or later the marketing companies understand that and they start looking at the junior stuff now and start backing the junior athletes in every sport, because, you know, training and stuff like that, even in hockey and all these other sports, are expensive as well. So you know, being able to support them at such a young age is more of a story and publicity than jumping on Palau's car that's won the championship for 4 years in a row. It's like, great, you're just paying to be on his car because he's great, he's an amazing driver, but what does that really do for your company, right?
I think that's why it's good to have teams like Tooth that exist, that have like actual, like, they try to support and develop drivers as much as possible, like from their large range, from like, let it be racing Miata Cup, we're doing LMP2, LMP3, and like I'm working towards a program for Le Mans. It's just stuff like that shows that there's teams that care and want to help drivers. It's just, again, the funding also, like, even though they try to also obviously like keep things as like relatively like to the market as possible, still it's good to have teams like that are actually like about development and aren't just like, oh, we're gonna go here and like forget about everyone else here, right?
Exactly. No, Tooth's a great team. No, Travis and Trevor, a long time. I won't say how long. That just might date us a little bit. But yeah, they're good guys, and they know that the exact same thing we're talking about. It's funding is the biggest thing of our sport, and it sucks because that shouldn't be. It should be all about the talent and get in there. In soccer, if you're good, you'll get there.
Exactly right.
Like in baseball, you're good, you'll get there. But in motorsports, you can be the best driver in the world and never even step foot in a car, right? So it's pretty sad.
So moving into a bit of a different topic, what's it been like working at the Porsche Experience Center in Pickering, and like what's kind of like your exact job title there?
So it's honestly so much fun. I'm the account lead for the whole facility, so I do all the hiring and oversee all the departments and everything to do with this Porsche Experience Center. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of growing pains, but we're it's part of it when we're building such a crazy facility and in the middle of Pickering, which I'm from Pickering, and if you told me when I was a kid that there'd be a circuit like that in the middle of Pickering, I would have laughed at you.
Right behind the casino.
Yeah, right behind the casino. And it's getting busier and busier every day. We are open to the public, and I think that's the biggest thing that people don't understand is that we are open to anyone can walk into the place. We have an amazing cafe there that you can come and have lunch and coffee. A lot more people are starting to show up to just hang out and work. It's like almost like a Starbucks where when you go there and work, we have free Wi-Fi, we have free coffee. Well, not free coffee, but we have a coffee. We have coffee and some great lunch. I eat the lunch all the time because it's so good, and there's so many options. And we're starting to have a lot more people just come in and work there because it's a great atmosphere, and you can out there sit in a crazy cafe with a lot of noise around you, or you can sit on our balcony and watch some Porsches go around the track. So I think a lot of people are changing to seeing the Porsches instead of a crazy cafe. So, I think that's the biggest hurdle we had was just getting everyone to realize it's not just Porsche owners.
Like Oro Station where it's private.
It's not a private track. We do have private events, and that's normal for buyouts and stuff. But it's definitely a pretty cool place that everyone needs to come check out. And we're getting busier and busier, and that's all we can ask for.
Nice, man. It's like, it looks like a really fun job to get paid to just drive around Porsche all day.
When I'm doing demo laps and stuff like that, and we come to a stop, and 90% of the time it's like, this is your job? I'm like, it is. I just give you a roller coaster ride in a GT3 RS.
I was talking to Alec when he first got hired, and he was saying that like it's almost like a non-real job. You get paid to just drive Porsches all day. Like even at the Cars and Coffee, I was talking to him, he goes, this isn't reality.
No one thinks that. They're like, how is this your job? And I'm like, well, it's all the years of putting in hard work and putting in the motorsports background. It turned into something that's a passion. And I worked for Porsche as a driver coach for 6 years before I actually took this role on. And I was in the karting industry for a while, and they asked if I would come and do this. And I look at it and I thought it would be pretty stupid to pass this up. And a little bit more time having kids and stuff like that kind of prioritize being home a little bit more. And as you know, in the motorsports world, you travel a lot. So running a team, I was away a lot. I would be sometimes 6 weeks away. And when I started to notice that my kids were starting to notice that I was away, then that's when you need a change.
Kind of switched.
It was like a switch. You get older and you kind of realize that traveling around the world was fantastic in my late teens, 20s, even early 30s. But once I started having kids and I was married, and I kind of enjoyed being home, I kind of sold the team and started with Porsche, and I haven't looked back. It's been a lot of fun.
I remember when I left Arrive and Drive Karting and did a scholarship program to go to pro. Was the year it was sold. So I bought the suit, I bought all the stuff, and then like immediately as I get there, and the next time they're like, oh, by the way, it's FAF now. I'm like, okay. So I have all my kit that I wear all the time. They're like, oh, you're on pro, and I'm like, I guess for like a week.
No, that's awesome. I love that you rep the pro suit still. I still see them. I see pro shirts at the races even and stuff like that, and I always make a point to go up to them and like, I like that shirt. And like, how do you know know about this? I'm like, because I owned the
That
team.
was mine.
That was me. Yeah. So no, I loved it, and it was a hard decision, but I look back now, and it was the right decision.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
I'm definitely not regretting it.
Nice. So would you be able to, just for those that might not know, would you be able to kind of tell the differentials between like NASCAR Canada Series and like the Cup Series, and what kind of differentiates those?
Yeah, so the Cup Series in the States runs a spec chassis that is it's actually a carbon chassis now. It's pretty much a GT race car.
Yeah.
Like they're not the old tube frame chassis that they used to run back in the day. They've turned into a full GT car that runs on the ovals as well as the road courses. Back in the day, they would have 30 cars for a driver, where this is the short track oval, this is the super speedway car, this is the 8th mile, this is the bank, like they had cars for everything, where now they have a limit on how many cars they're allowed. Our cars are a little bit older technology. If you look at it, it's the older design, tube frame, all roll cage chassis based. We really haven't updated all safety and stuff like that. That matters is all updated and keeps us safe. But they're more of an Xfinity car, where they're built to a spec of the roll cage and everything, and then everything's bolted onto that. So the chassis is built into the roll cage, and so it's not exactly the newest technology, but I always say it's the bulletproof technology, where it's been tried, tested, and true, and it's the a car from 2009 is the same design as a car from 2025. Right. There might be a little bit difference in pickup points and how they put the chassis together and where they weld certain things, but the gist of it is the exact same. So why we do that is, if we force everyone to buy a brand new car, we'll lose
a majority.
75% of the field will not do that.
No.
So some of the guys do buy cars every year. Some of the guys are on older stuff. My chassis is pretty old. But as long as you maintain it and keep it up to spec, we can still run up front with those guys. And that's the big thing about our series, is that anyone can really buy a car from, as long as it's the newest spec. And the newest spec is anything from like 2007 and on, or 2008 and on, and you can compete in the series, right? The bodies are updated, so the bodies are literally just fiberglass bolted to the cars. So you update the body, you update the engine to the new crate motors and stuff like that, and you can go racing. And so that's what keeps our series and our car count so high. Is that we're actually able to keep some of the older cars around, and that makes people not have to go spend a bunch of money on a brand new car, right? In the States, the Cup Series, they're buying new cars every year anyways.
Exactly.
So them changing the chassis is not a big hit to everyone, and then after a couple of years, people are buying used cars from like Hendrick and stuff like that, and being like, here's this car and this car, and getting rid of them. But our series will not survive if we try to do that, and we don't have the financial backing like the US does. We do have great series sponsors and money that's going through it, but it's not, these $1 million prizes that they're winning down in the States. It's like a pro grass series race. It's a grassroots race. It's a little bit older, but it works, and people build brand new cars to the same spec. The only thing that's different is they might be a little bit lighter now, so they can move their weights around a little bit more. And like I said, like suspension pickup points and stuff to how they like their setup done. But cars are built to pretty much the exact same spec that cars were from 2007. So that's what keeps our car count so strong. Road courses were 30 to 35 cars every time, and the ovals are a little bit less, but I think that has us. Not going to bore you with all the politics of everything, but I think that has something to do with other things. But the road courses, why we're so strong with it is because pretty much anyone can go buy a car and go race it. Right.
Nice. Yeah, hopefully we get a bit more consistent young talent in NASCAR Canada Series, because we have Connor, and then it kind of stops there.
Yeah.
Like majority of the field, like you look at the like back in Cascar and Busch series, majority of drivers from then are kind of all the same drivers that are there now.
Yeah.
So hopefully we kind of get some like new talent flowing through, so it's not just like Cameron just consistently year to year.
Yeah, no, Tyler Gonzalez jumped into it this year, and he's doing great. Connor Bell, great talent, had a great debut, and he's been strong ever since he started. But yeah, I agree. I think I believe that a lot of the guys in the States now are respecting our series a lot more, because some of them come up here and think they're going to just walk away with it, and they realize these cars are not easy to drive. That we're, a lot of the guys in the series are no slouch. We can go toe to toe with anyone out there. And I think that's starting to bring a lot more people up, because it's a little bit cheaper to run our series than to run in the States. I think this would be a good stepping stone to kind of get the close wheel-to-wheel road course racing, and bring some of the talent up here to go and have some fun. So I think we're in a good spot right now with NASCAR. I think NASCAR Canada is growing. The fan base is growing. We've had the busiest year for fans by far in a long time. I think that is partly to do with the just motorsports in general in Canada. I think it's growing a lot more. So I hope a lot of these kids can turn around and think, let's go racing in NASCAR and go have some fun with the NASCAR Canada Series.
Nice. Yeah. It is on a healthy uprise, I think, because the past few years it's kind of just been like maintained to a point. Yeah. But now it's growing a lot exponentially, which is awesome to see, of course.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as you said, within the next few years, there's some kids that are like crazy enough to be like, I want to go in that.
Yeah. And to be honest, from the karting industry, I've had kids reach out to me and be like, I want to do that. I want to go towards what you guys are doing, because it looks like it's a lot of fun. And and I love it. Like, I've driven GT cars and all sorts of stuff. And I look at these cars and, people ask me what they're like to drive, and they're heavy. They don't stop. They don't want to turn. They got tons of horsepower. You don't want a car to do. Exactly, but they're the funnest things to drive. Like, they're absolutely a blast to drive. And I think when people finally test it and start doing some laps in it, they realize like this could be a lot of fun to drive around. And and I think a lot of people are starting to realize that it's a good series to get involved in.
Nice. So what you kind of answered this before, but what kind of steered you towards the performance driving instruction, and like how do you like that as opposed to anything else that you've kind of done?
I've done so the performance driving. I've always liked coaching. I've always liked working with people and seeing the difference of when you start working with them to when they end. And I feel like that performance driving, again, it's getting busier and busier. It was not really something that a lot of people did. And for when I first got involved with it, I started in the States, as well as up here with Dave Tennyson with another manufacturer. But me and Dave Tennyson got me involved in it. He taught me how to do it and what to do and how, and he took me under his wing to get me involved in that type of stuff. Nice. And then I ended up working in the States with another manufacturer, where I toured around to a bunch of the tracks around there and got it all sorted and had some fun traveling around and doing experiences. Nice. And then it all just turned into why I started coaching more and more and more and more, and went from there.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a pretty cool industry to be involved in. It's a small industry to be involved in, but it's a really cool industry to be involved in.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's the one job that I think people see, they're like, that's probably one of the best ways to make money.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, make money instead of spend it.
Exactly right. You're doing something that you obviously love, because you're driving these high horsepower vehicles. And just doing it so casually and just like, okay, well, this is life now. This is great.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do engine building for Briggs. And,
I do.
What kind of got you into that, and like what's kind of your motivation towards doing that?
So when I was working for Lon in his shop, I ran his dyno, did a bunch of the engine work with him, and once I stopped working for him, I kind of just let it go. And then when this new Briggs platform came around, one of the old clients that I had from Lon was like, "Hey, you used to help Lon out. You want to try building my engine?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then I started to do them and won a couple of races, and more people started to come around and be like, "Hey, why don't you do mine?" And then we started to compete in the States and win down there. Won the U.S. the Grands a couple times with some different drivers. Won the Canadian Nationals with some different drivers. And I think that just kind of snowballed into, turning into, I guess, one of the top, the Briggs guys out there that keeps these motors going. So, like you said, with Alec, I build Alec's stuff, and I kind of pick and choose now what's going on and who I can build for. I just don't. I don't want to get so busy that I got out of the karting industry to spend some more time with my family, and I don't really want to get involved with that side of things. If I'm getting too busy and not spending as much time with my family, I'll just pull back. I tell everyone that I start building for again that, hey, I don't come to the track every weekend. You can call me, but I'm not coming. I'm around, to support you, but I'm not going to be at the facilities every weekend. That's the whole reason I'm doing this, and I'm straight up with everyone from the get-go, and there's no hide-ins. So that's how I get that done.
And still building sufficient engines. Like Dylan just had a great season of doing BSC here in Ontario, so still working good.
Still working good. Owen McCarthy, sorry. He's been doing really well. Paxa, the Prime team, some of those guys are on my stuff. Dylan, like you said, he was battling for the BSC championship, won 3 of the rounds. Still couldn't lock it in the championship, but it was a very tight championship. He did really well. There's a lot of people like my niece Sloan Sterling. She's been up front running around with them. I have a kid in the States in Washington, Felix, that's winning everything over there. I have some guys out in West. I kind of just send them wherever if people want them.
Just get an address and you're like,
here you go. Send it to me. I'll build it. Send it back to them. And I've even gone down to Guyana in South America. I've been sending them down there and winning some races on the weekends. Nice. So we're having some fun while we're doing it.
Faf's old Lamborghini is down in Guyana.
Yeah. That's crazy to me. I don't know how.
Apparently GT scene is growing down there.
So the Latin America GTs Championship has. So Guyana built a state-of-the-art facility, and the Latin America GT Championship just went down there in July, and it was a successful weekend, and a lot of the GT cars are popping up in the Latin America Championship,
which is awesome. Really good to see.
It is that motorsports is growing all around the world. So. It's pretty cool to see such a big championship. Both my parents are from Guyana, so being able to see that in a smaller populated country was pretty cool.
Nice. I know you're kind of like more focused on just doing motorsport here, but what's kind of your dream in motorsport, and where do you kind of see yourself in 5 years?
So honestly, I would say my dream I would love to do a full championship with the NASCAR guys. It's all funding based, but I feel like that would be a pretty kind of fun to dabble with some ovals a little bit more and road courses and compete to see what we can do for the championship. I think, giving Larry that hope to maybe go for that championship one year, and I think we can definitely battle for those podiums and those wins if we can put a proper budget together.
Sure, and you've got the pace. Clearly. Like you're consistently in the top 10 with both in championship and in races, right?
I think so. I think we've got the pace. I think if we can get a little bit more of some more partners on board to kind of help with some testing and stuff like that as well, I think that would just amplify the program that much more and would help us get up there a little bit better. But we're a small team. We're by no means at all close to some of the budgets of these big teams and
factory guys.
And they're putting big money into it, and we're like the little train that could. And I think we open a lot of eyes when we're battling and running into top 5 and top 10 and showing them that the small team that runs out of a garage in Oakville is something to mess with. So I think if we can get some more partnerships together and do a full season, I think that would be my goal for the next 5 years. And after 5 years, you never know what happens.
Like Larry just getting a big hauler was already an achievement in itself, right? So.
that was big. Instead of showing up with 2 race trailers and a couple coolers.
It was the security being like, "Who are you? Race team?
Okay, are you sure?" It's like, yes, go look in the trailer. There's a car back there. So I know that was a big deal for us to to get the big rig and show up in one hauler as a team together. And Larry's Larry puts the money where he can and what he can and cannot do, but we're pretty happy right now.
Yeah, the team just runs off fun times and vibes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way to go, right? Fun times and vibes. That's the best way to run it.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun team to be around, like doing photography for you guys for the second year now. It's just, you see like so much dynamics and just everyone's just happy to be there, enjoying their time.
Yeah.
And, like not trying to stress themselves out, and like everyone just kind of has their own flow and their own like work order, and everything works kind of well. You don't really see things going wrong. Even if things do go wrong, it gets done quick.
Yeah,
so it's a really good team there.
I agree, and that's why it felt great. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna do our lightning round, even though it doesn't have to be quick. You can answer them as long.
I'll do quick. Let's go.
Quick. So first one is favorite racetrack in the world.
Favorite racetrack, I have to say Mosport.
Mosport?
Yeah.
No bias.
No bias. If I could say that it's not a bias, then I'll just kick that to the side because it is my home track. But I'll go with Spa or Road America.
Fair. Favorite race series?
British touring car.
British touring car? Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you prefer like the modern era or like back then?
Back then was the best.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
year, like now, it's pretty cool with the TCR stuff, but 5 years ago was wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Who's your motorsport hero?
Senna.
Senna?
Yeah.
Nice. That's sick. Did you ever get to go to a race, see him race back then?
No, I never got to see him race. I used to watch him a lot on TV, but I was always in awe with what he could do, but I never fully understood the impact that he had until I was older.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah, now it's crazy. Yeah. Like my oldest daughter, her middle name is Isla Air Timmers, like her, Air is AYR. So
nice.
It's just a little bit of a tribute to him.
That's sick. 3 dream cars.
3 dream cars. I'm going to say the GT3 RS. I love the old Audi Quattros, like the old rally cars. Yeah. Those were monsters. And if I was throw another one out there, let's go with the
something.
Yeah, something. Let's go with the new Turbo S. The new
Turbo S?
Yeah, the new Turbo S is
nice.
Is really nice.
Borderline his work cars, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
GT or prototype?
Prototypes. I love prototypes. They're really cool. I would love to drive one sooner or later.
Woolridge is in Spa right
down
now.
in Spa.
Yeah, driving for Inter Europol.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Who do you want to win 2026 F1 Road Drivers Championship?
I want Lewis to get his championship, his 8th, but Antonelli's unstoppable right now.
He's insane. Kid's wild. So every time to watch a race and then be like, he was born 2006. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. I was almost in my teens. Yeah. Almost in my 20s by the time that was happening. But yeah, let's leave that alone.
Electric or gas cars?
Gas, love the the rumble.
Exactly, 100%. Even like being NASCAR driver, you kind of have to say so. Just hearing that fly by, it's like,
exactly.
Wow. Most memorable moment of your career so far?
Gotta say it. 2017, won the Canadian Nationals, and then on the podium proposed to my wife. So
nice.
That
awesome.
That was pretty cool.
That's sick. Best type of client to have when instructing?
Someone that wants to learn, that doesn't think they know what they're doing. They're just open-minded to have a conversation, and I think that's the biggest key to learning this sport is going with an open mind and not thinking that because you drive a car on the road, you know what you're doing.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
How would you sum up your 2026 season so far?
Ups and downs, a little bit of financial issues once in a while with partners and stuff like that. But on track stuff, I think very successful.
Nice.
I think we've shown that we've had the pace, and people, look for us when we're coming into the weekends now. So I think that's a big part of this whole thing.
Nice. Yeah, I'd agree. It's been a good season. Like starting off, going from P22 to P7 was just an insane drive.
Yeah.
Even after like hours and hours of yellows.
Yeah, exactly. And being able to kind of come in with no scratches on the car was a big positive for us.
Nice. Well, that's been Darryl Timmers. We learned a lot of things, talked about a lot of topics. Thank you for tuning in. Follow DCSA Media Hub on Instagram. Yours is just Darryl Timmers.
Darryl Timmers.
Yeah, just Darryl Timmers.
Darryl Timmers. Something simple.
Yeah, Northern Apex on Instagram, DCSA, and all that. Thank you for tuning in. We have a very special guest next week, so tune into that. Have a good day.